Stone Cold Prose, building better words.
Hollywood has fallen. This has been evident for some time, and the only questions remaining now are, does anyone care? Should they care? How did this happen? And can it be fixed? I think the answers are a bit more complicated and a bit more disturbing than any of us want to believe. Hi guys, welcome back to Stone Cold Prose, where we build better words, better thoughts, and better men. I'm Miles Watson, novelist and author of numerous award-winning series including Cage Life, Sinner's Cross, and The Chronicles of Magnus. I worked in Hollywood for 12 years, law enforcement for another 10, and now I break it all down and build it back better. So let's get into this. The first question I asked here is, does anyone care that Hollywood has fallen? The answer to this is basically no. Hollywood is rather like that once awesome TV show you initially couldn't wait to watch each week, that lingered on year after year, its ratings slowly declining, its original audience dwindling, its ability to attract new viewers disappearing entirely, until it existed only as an embarrassing shadow of its former self, and even then was kept alive more for sentimental reasons than because anyone was actually watching it. Remember the Dukes of Hazzard? That show was hotter than the sun when it debuted in 1979. I remember it well. My second grade self would have drowned myself in a bathtub full of goat urine before missing a gander at Daisy Duke in her Daisy Dukes. But then one day in 1985, when I was in like 8th grade, I turned on the TV, and to my astonishment, the show was still on. Not in reruns, it was still producing new episodes. I had no idea it was still on the air, and the fact that it was left me with an inexplicable feeling of embarrassment. It was like the guy who doesn't realize the party's over, even though all the other guests have left, the booze has run out, and the hosts are falling asleep. You don't hate that guy, but his time has passed. It's time to go. Question 2 is, should the people have this attitude? Now, this answer is more complex, and we have to get back in the Wayback Machine to get a full answer. So strap into your TARDIS, baby, because we're going on a bit of a journey. See, when I was 14 years old, there was a catchy commercial for TV Guide. Does TV Guide still exist? And it went like this.
The fun, all the shows A to Z and the facts. What's behind what you see? TV Guide, the whole world of TV. That's entertainment. The stars underneath all the glow and the news. From the people who know TV Guide, it's a fabulous show. So buy TV Guide and read TV Guide. That's entertainment.
Notice the line, the stars underneath all the glow. Yeah, back in the days, and this commercial first ran in 1986, by the way, the idea that stars of TV and film had a glow about them was accepted by everyone, including me. Why? Because it was true. In the 80s and in the early 90s and even the mid-2000s for that matter, stars still had a great deal of the glamour that they cultivated around themselves back when cinema first became a thing. And this is a critical point. For generations, going back to the era of silent movies, there was an unofficial compact between Hollywood and the American people. The stars would be beautiful and glamorous and lead extravagant lives, which would be carefully curated and pruned by their handlers to remove all traces, most traces, of drug use, alcoholism, and sexual degeneracy, and they would stay out of party politics and other socially divisive activities. The public would, in turn, live vicariously through these idealized individuals, imagining themselves on red carpets, swilling martinis, hobnobbing with other famous people, getting whisked around Tinseltown in chauffeured limousines amid the flare of flash bulbs and the glare of spotlights. A life of champagne and fancy cars and silk sheets, ball gowns and tuxedos, and each side would stay firmly in its lane. The stars would play at being stars all the time to keep up the illusion, and John Q. Public would not resent his own shitty job and crappy house and dead-end life because he had his spiritual dope, his escape, in the form of the silver screen and later the boob tube. And this compact, this agreement, held until the advent of social media. specifically Twitter. You see, what Twitter did specifically, and social media did generally, is pull back the curtain that separated the red carpet of the stars from the shitty industrial carpet the rest of us were standing on. For the first time in history, we, the great unwashed public, had a chance not only to interact with the stars directly through tweets and things like that, we got an uncurated, unvarnished, unpolished, raw look at their thoughts and feelings, and sometimes, let's be honest, their bodies. Now, as with Dorothy, we discovered that when the Wizard of Oz was neither great nor terrible, but just a grumpy con man with some fancy special effects, well, yeah, we discovered that the illusion that stars had a glow about them, a glamour in the literal sense of the word, glamour meaning magic, was quickly dispelled by the reality that a lot of them were opinionated, entitled, spoiled, subliterate, self-righteous douchebags. This situation got worse when it became chic for stars to trumpet their political opinions in a very crass way, which alienated huge swaths of their previously loyal audiences. And it got much worse when the degeneracy of Hollywood became increasingly impossible to ignore. See, before we knew there was freaky shit going on, but we were tacitly okay with it because it made for good gossip and fantasy, and the line between the good stars and the bad boys and bad girls was clear. Also because there was a limit on the salacious details we got. It's one thing to womanize, or to be a man-eater, as they used to call the female version of the womanizer. It's another to human traffic or sexually assault people. Modern media exposed all of this. We started realizing that the bad boys were more plentiful and far more bad than we had ever been led to believe. And this, too, spoiled the illusion. The real joy of a magic show is not knowing how the magician pulls off his tricks. Not knowing. We know their tricks, but we don't know how they're performed, and we don't really want to know because that would violate the compact between performer and audience. We know that once those secrets are exposed, the illusions seem dumb, almost insulting due to their simplicity, and we feel dumb for having fallen for them, and we lose respect for the magician. And that's what happened here. We saw the stars for what they were, people, and they let us know how they felt about most of us as people. Instead of wanting to live vicariously through them, our natural resentment for their fame, wealth, and luxury lifestyle came to the surface at last. A century of romance was over, because remember, in America, we can accept gross wealth inequality, but only if we like you. Now, should you, John Q. and Jane Q. public, care about Hollywood's slow motion demise? Well, here's the thing. You may hate Hollywood, the industry, but you consume its product. No matter your sex, your race, your age, your religion, your politics, you consume its product, period. Every song you listen to, every television show that you binge watch, every classic television show or classic movie that you scarf up, every movie you see in the theater or on streaming, the animated shows you watch, the video games you play, even the comedy routines you laugh at are all basically, directly or indirectly, products of Hollywood. If Putin dropped the Tsar Bomba on Hollywood tomorrow and sent La La Land into hell, where you probably think it belongs, I guarantee you would probably go into acute entertainment withdrawal within 30 minutes. There is a great, great deal of hypocrisy on the part of the public when it comes to the entertainment industry. In the last 15 years especially, as the curtain has come down and the hostility has gone up, product consumption in some ways is greater than ever. The public despises their harlequins, but keeps hiring them to perform. Hell, a lot of YouTubers make serious coin dancing and pissing on the graves of industries without whom they could not exist for a single week. And as someone who toiled in the industry, who worked on a dozen or 15 television shows, a half dozen feature films, and too many video game titles to mention, I resent this. As a female porn star once said to me when I was living in Sherman Oaks, the same ones who tell me I should be ashamed of myself in the comments are also sliding into my DMs looking for love. Hypocrisy. Now, the last question is, can it be fixed? Can Hollywood ever regain the glitz and glam that was once its hallmark? Can it ever win back the trust and the love of the populace? Is the dying idea of the movie star something that can actually be saved, be revived? I believe the answer is no. But it's not because the public will never forgive Hollywood its scandals or its self-righteousness. I believe the public, in spite of its present ill temper toward Tinseltown, is hungry to forgive it and could go back to some semblance of their old compact tomorrow, if only the stars and the business they work in would behave themselves a little more. Unfortunately, the issue is becoming increasingly moot, thanks first to CGI and then lately to AI. Technological change is something Hollywood has always rolled with in the past, I grant you, but now that change is rolling over Hollywood. Technology by itself is threatening the existence not merely of production crew, but of writers and actors, their very existence as a profession. It's often said that the age of movie stars is over, but that doesn't preclude a comeback. What precludes a comeback is the total destruction of the movie-making model itself. AI, which is still in its infancy, has essentially hit Hollywood like a bowling ball would hit a pane of glass. All the old structures that were holding up the industry have shattered or are shattering. In a previous video, I joked that Alien Romulus was like someone saying, "Alexa, write me an Alien script." But the fact of the matter is, we are only a couple of years away from ordinary citizens being able to say, "Alexa," or Siri, "make me a 2-hour sci-fi movie crossover Battlestar Galactica with Star Trek in the style of Quentin Tarantino, and then put it on my big screen. Oh, and put Audrey Hepburn in it." And your computer will spit out that movie. It won't be any good, and it will violate about 300 copyrights and employ a bunch of actors who are dead, but it will exist. You won't need writers, you won't need producers, you won't need actors or crew, just a computer program. And when Joe Sixpack can do that, there will be no need for movie studios or any of the people who come with them, myself included. And that is not just the loss of hundreds of thousands of jobs, some of which took decades of hard work to master. It's the death of human creativity. Because make no mistake, AI will kill the human imagination, and probably in less than one generation, 20, 25 years. Because the process of using your imagination to make a physical product takes time. And AI can steal from the imaginations of others to produce a plagiarized product in no time at all. It'll be shit, but it'll be fast. And most humans would take a McDonald's hamburger now over a really good steak an hour from now. Not all change is progress. And not every innovation works for the public good. As the Terminator remarked to John Connor in T2, it's in your nature to destroy yourselves. The death of Hollywood is symbolic of the slow motion death of the human race, our deliberate and willful step towards making our own species redundant for the sake of a few machines and the profit of a sub-fraction of people making up this capitalist robber baron class who won't rest until they have everything. And I mean everything, including your imagination. And that is why I take no pleasure in the fall of Hollywood. Maybe it wasn't so much in the end, but it was human. Folks, if you enjoyed today's video, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and remember to check out my books on Amazon. The link is in the description if I remembered to put it there. I never do. I drop scripted content every Friday at 3 p.m., shorts almost every single day, and unscripted rambles whenever rage moves me to do so. See you next time, and until then, stay cold.